Pay close attention, because what I'm about to tell you could radically change your financial life. Put God first, and you'll see the money others can't. Yes, just as you heard it. You've probably spent years chasing money, working hard, fighting every day, yet still haven't reached true financial freedom. Have you ever asked yourself why? The reason is both simple and powerful. Most people seek money first and only later turn to God, and that is the great mistake. In this video, I'm going to reveal a biblical secret forgotten by many Christians. But it's the guaranteed path to strong and lasting biblical prosperity. This isn't about superficial religious practices, but eternal principles that will allow you to discover financial opportunities that were always there, but invisible to your natural eyes. I assure you that when you put these principles into practice, you'll clearly see what was once impossible to perceive. By the end of this video, I promise you'll discover how to access a completely different financial reality than the one you've lived until now. But I must warn you, what I'll share at the end will likely surprise you, because it contradicts almost everything you've ever heard about money and prosperity. So stay with me. Make sure you subscribe right now and turn on the bell so you don't miss future videos. Get ready, because what's coming could radically transform the way you manage money starting today. Carlos is someone we all know, a natural fighter, honest and hard-working, who wakes up early every day to give his best to his family. He works 12 hours a day, sometimes more, yet still can't escape his debts. He constantly feels anxious, watching others prosper while he remains stuck. And even though he tries everything, he's still trapped in that frustrating cycle so many of us know. Then comes the big question. Why isn't hard work enough to achieve the financial success we long for? The answer isn't a lack of effort or talent. Isolated effort, while valuable, is never enough if there's no spiritual clarity behind it. That's where something more powerful comes in. The idea of putting God first. Look at what Jesus teaches in Matthew 6:33. Seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added to you. This principle makes it clear that our absolute priority must be to seek God and align with him before chasing riches. Have you ever thought about how this approach could change your Christian finances and unlock the doors that always seem shut? Let me put it simply. Most people focus only on how to make money, but they ignore the spiritual roots of money. Working hard without purpose is like running fast with no direction. Sooner or later, you end up frustrated and exhausted. What you really need are biblical financial keys to align your effort with the plan God designed for you from the beginning. This reminds me of the famous series, Succession. Wealth and power abound in that family. But without solid spiritual principles, everything ends in emotional chaos. It's proof that accumulating money without divine purpose brings more problems than solutions. Can you imagine working hard, but knowing that every step you take is backed by God himself? If you relate to Carlos, you probably understand that feeling of anxiety when you look around and think, what am I doing wrong? It's not easy to realize that effort alone isn't enough, especially when we grew up hearing things like, hard work always pays off. But reality is different. Your work must be accompanied by a prosperous mindset that only arises when God directs your steps. Maybe you're wondering right now how to break that frustrating cycle. Well, there's a clear path out of it. And that's exactly why I created the Put God First and Prosper playlist. In it, I share the deep spiritual secrets that attract wealth and how to apply spiritual principles to gain money in your everyday life. You'll find it at the end of this video, and believe me, it'll be exactly what you need to change your financial reality. How many times have we heard people say that God and money shouldn't mix? As if talking about money was somehow unspiritual or worldly. But here lies the first mistake many of us make, thinking money is just paper or a bank account. The truth is, before it is material, money is deeply spiritual. And understanding this is key to achieving true biblical prosperity. Look at what the Bible clearly says in Deuteronomy 8:18. But remember the Lord your God, for it is He who gives you the power to get wealth. Did you catch that? The source of all material wealth has its root in the power God gives us. This means that to understand how money works and how to truly prosper with God first, we must recognize that everything begins in the spiritual realm. Let me give you an interesting example. You've probably heard of the famous book, The Richest Man in Babylon. Many millionaires and financial experts recommend its practical principles for managing money. What's curious is that these popular financial principles are based on concepts that were written long before in Bible verses about money and wealth. Even those who don't acknowledge God are unknowingly using biblical financial secrets that He revealed thousands of years ago. See how money begins as something spiritual before manifesting in the material. Those who grasp this truth begin to see opportunities that others never notice, because they understand that God reveals paths invisible to natural eyes. It's no coincidence that people with spiritual clarity are also those who succeed most in managing money, especially when it comes to biblical finance. And the reason is simple yet powerful. The spiritual world governs the material world, never the other way around. That's why, when you learn how to manage money according to the Bible, you start making decisions with divine wisdom, attract unexpected financial blessings, and experience a financial peace that doesn't depend on how much is in your bank account. That is the true power behind money. You may be wondering how you can activate this spiritual principle in your financial life. Don't worry, there is a specific spiritual key for that. It's so powerful that once you discover it, you'll begin to clearly see what once seemed hidden and complicated. The good news, you're just about to discover it. We live in a time where success means fame, Instagram or TikTok followers, easy money, and extravagant lifestyles. But does that really fill the inner void we all feel? Many people achieve all those things, yet end up feeling empty, alone, or trapped in anxiety. The truth is that when we speak of success from God's perspective, everything changes. Purposeful wealth completely redefines what it means to succeed in life. Think about this for a second. What if King Solomon, yes, the wisest and richest man according to the Bible, appeared today on Shark Tank? What ideas would he pitch? Surely he wouldn't just talk about how to make money fast. He would talk about how to build wealth that transcends generations, wealth based on spiritual principles for making money. Imagine the investors' faces as they listened to him, probably as surprised as you are right now. Jesus made it even clearer in Matthew 6:33, where he gave us a fundamental teaching. But seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added to you. What exactly does it mean to seek first the kingdom of God? It means putting God above all your decisions, from the smallest to the most important, especially when it comes to your finances, and this changes your entire view of financial success. When we put God first, he redefines our priorities. We no longer chase after wealth just to accumulate things, but instead live with inner peace, cultivate healthy relationships, and create a positive impact on those around us. That is true success. A full life that naturally flows into financial freedom, but is never enslaved by money. It's prospering from the inside out, from the spiritual to the material. A perfect example is the actor Keanu Reeves. Despite having millions, he lives with surprising humility. Far from the selfishness and emptiness we see in so many celebrities, he doesn't chase applause or followers. Instead, he uses his money for noble causes, unknowingly reflecting the same biblical financial secrets Jesus taught over 2,000 years ago. Can you see the difference between empty success and real success? Maybe you've seen influencers on social media who seem to have it all, but ended up in deep depression or painful financial scandals. Material success without eternal principles is fragile and fleeting. That's why it's crucial to develop a prosperous mindset that's connected to the eternal. This won't just bring you material wealth, but peace, satisfaction, and purpose, which are far more lasting riches. Can you imagine waking up every day with the certainty that your actions are aligned with God's eternal purpose for your life? When that happens, everything changes. Money flows naturally because it's no longer the center of your life. It becomes a tool for a greater purpose. That's precisely when you begin to discover those financial opportunities that were previously hidden, and your life starts to reflect true biblical prosperity. There's a clear, practical, and direct way to implement this in your daily life. By putting God first. Most people I know don't get into financial trouble due to a lack of money, but because of a lack of clarity in their decisions. And let's be honest, we've all made impulsive purchases, poor investments, or rushed into loans we didn't really need. But did you know that true financial clarity comes directly from God? Proverbs 2:6 says it clearly, "For the Lord gives wisdom, from his mouth come knowledge and understanding." We live in an age where everyone wants to depend on artificial intelligence to make financial decisions. In fact, even banks now offer AI services to predict investments. But here's an interesting question. If so many people depend on a machine created by men, why not depend directly on the creator of human intelligence? Imagine the advantage of having God himself guide your steps in your Christian finances. A simple prayer before making a financial decision can open your mind to opportunities you never imagined were possible. This is not superstition, nor an empty religious ritual, but a practical strategy for managing money according to the Bible. When you pray and ask for divine wisdom, God can show you unexpected solutions to your problems, new ways to save, and even surprising strategies to get out of debt. What's amazing is that this clarity doesn't only affect your immediate decisions, it also has a profound impact on your financial future. When you make decisions based on spiritual principles, you begin to walk with a special confidence, knowing that every step you take is protected by God. It's no coincidence that people who follow these principles achieve extraordinary results, finally understanding the true meaning of financial freedom. Now, I want to challenge you with something simple but powerful. For the next 30 days, before making any important financial decision, take a few minutes to ask God for guidance. Do it sincerely and with an open heart, and I guarantee you'll begin to see immediate results. You'll not only be surprised by the wise decisions you make, but also by the deep peace you'll begin to experience as you put God first in your financial choices. Every day, we receive many prayer requests, and we've witnessed how God has responded powerfully, transforming the financial and personal lives of many people. If today you need prayer for your finances or are going through a difficult situation, don't hesitate to write your request in the comments. We are here to pray for you, firmly believing that God can intervene and to radically change your situation. Now that we understand the importance of spiritual clarity in our decisions, let me tell you a quick story about someone I know named Diego. Diego had a natural talent for making money. He started a business quickly, grew it, and accumulated wealth. But his ambition turned into obsession. Before long, his family relationships deteriorated. He fell into deep anxiety, and eventually, he lost almost everything. Why? Because he had made money his goal, instead of using it as a tool. The Bible clearly warns us in Ecclesiastes 5:10, "Whoever loves money never has enough." When we seek money as the main goal, we end up frustrated because ambition never ends. But when we understand that money is simply a powerful tool to fulfill greater purposes, unexpected doors to true biblical prosperity begin to open. When we put God first, we start seeing money from a different perspective. We're no longer obsessed with accumulating wealth, but with how we can use that wealth to bless others. This shift doesn't just bring inner peace and healthy relationships. It also creates an abundant flow of resources. Why? Because God trusts those who use material blessings wisely to make a positive impact in other people's lives. A wonderful example of this is actor Denzel Washington. Many people don't know that he has quietly been funding the education of underprivileged youth for years. He uses his money as a tool, not as a selfish goal, clearly demonstrating a true prosperous mindset. This is exactly the attitude that opens doors to blessings beyond what we can imagine, and it perfectly reflects the spiritual principles for gaining wealth. Now I want to challenge you. Take a moment to evaluate how you've been seeing money until now. Are you using it as a selfish goal or as a tool to serve God and others? Think. How could your life change if from this very moment you chose to use every cent you receive with purpose? Imagine the satisfaction of knowing that your money not only improves your life, but also the lives of those around you. If you've decided to use your money as a tool guided by God, go ahead and write this prophetic declaration in the comments. I put God first, and that's why I prosper. This simple act can change your financial perspective starting today and activate a powerful spiritual principle in your life. Not long ago, I met Andrea and Javier, a couple of small digital entrepreneurs who started from scratch. They didn't have much business experience, but they had something powerful: active faith. They decided to pray for their projects, and despite their doubts, they took small, concrete steps, convinced that God would support their efforts. The result? Their online business is now thriving beyond anything they ever imagined. Did you know the Bible talks specifically about this? James 2:26 clearly says, "Faith without works is dead." This means that believing in God's provision is not enough. You also have to take concrete steps in that direction. It's in those steps that we activate the true spiritual secrets that attract wealth and open doors that were previously invisible to us. Maybe it has happened to you. You waited too long and missed valuable opportunities. Here's a danger many of us overlook: passivity disguised as faith. Believing that God will do everything while you stay motionless. That's not faith. It's spiritual irresponsibility. But when you combine true faith with concrete action, surprising financial miracles are activated, the kind that reflect an authentic, prosperous mindset. Let me be very clear. God deeply honors those who act in faith, especially when they take smart risks, trusting in His direction. It's like planting seeds in fertile soil. At first, you might not see anything, but with time, you'll see abundant fruit. The same happens with your finances when you choose to move forward, guided by divine principles on how to prosper with God. Today, I want to invite you to think about that one specific action you've been postponing. Maybe you've been postponing it, starting an online business, getting out of a difficult debt, or simply beginning to save seriously. What small step could you take today to activate your faith and unlock those doors that seemed permanently closed? I assure you, when you act in faith, God starts moving with you. Suddenly, people, resources, and ideas appear. Things you never imagined having access to. They're not coincidences. They're divine answers to your active faith, showing exactly what happens when you apply spiritual principles for making money with conviction and confidence. The most exciting part, you never know how far one small action combined with genuine faith can take you. But I can assure you, it always takes you much further than you could have ever gone on your own. And the most beautiful part is, you're about to discover exactly how to do it in a practical and realistic way in your daily life. Have you ever made an impulsive financial decision and deeply regretted it later, like accepting a loan you didn't really need or jumping into an investment that seemed promising but ended in disaster? The truth is, many of these situations happen because we forget to ask ourselves, do my financial decisions truly honor God? Honoring God with your money isn't just a religious matter. It's deeply practical and wise. The Bible clearly teaches in Proverbs 3:9, honor the Lord with your wealth, with the first fruits of all your crops. This means thinking before acting and always putting God first in every financial decision. Whether it's buying a house, starting a business, or investing in cryptocurrencies. There's something powerful in stopping to ask God before making a concrete decision. I know people who, before investing in a seemingly promising venture, take a few minutes to pray and wait for God's answer. The result? They save themselves from countless financial headaches because God gives them absolute clarity on what to do. I've seen how small entrepreneurs who chose to honor God in every step of their business avoided recent crises that devastated larger companies. When you align your finances with the Bible, you don't just achieve short-term success. You gain long-lasting financial stability and an inner peace that money alone could never buy. You may be wondering, how can I do this in a practical way? The key is simple but transformative. Before any major financial decision, pause for a moment, close your eyes, and ask God sincerely, does this honor your name? Is it aligned with what you teach in your word? It only takes a moment, but it's incredibly powerful, capable of radically changing your financial situation. When you begin to honor God like this, you'll experience not only financial clarity, but also a peace that goes beyond understanding. And this peace doesn't come from how much money you have, but from knowing that every cent you manage is aligned with His eternal purpose. This is what we call living with true purposeful wealth, a lifestyle that surpasses superficial material riches. Think for a moment. How can the decision of a single person transform the life of an entire family or even several generations? Maybe you remember someone in your own family who made wise financial decisions based on strong spiritual principles, and how that positively impacted your life and others. Putting God first doesn't just change your present, it creates an unimaginable multiplier effect. Proverbs 13:22 says something powerful. A good person leaves an inheritance for their children's children. And that inheritance isn't just about money. It's also the spiritual and emotional legacy you leave when you act with integrity and divine purpose. When you combine biblical wisdom with concrete financial decisions, you're building something that will outlast your own life. A true wealth with purpose. This makes me think of the book, The Lean Startup, by Eric Ries. It teaches how to multiply results through small, strategic decisions. Now imagine applying that same mindset to your spiritual and financial choices. What if you scaled your finances by not only using business strategies, but also the same spiritual principles for wealth that God revealed centuries ago? True prosperity doesn't just benefit your wallet. When you put God first, your financial success extends to those around you, family, friends, your entire community. Wise financial decisions become a source of inspiration for others, encouraging them to also seek out the spiritual secrets that attract wealth and transform their own realities. Just imagine for a second the legacy you would leave behind if every financial decision you made reflected God's eternal purpose. Your children, grandchildren, and loved ones would learn from your example to live with integrity, purpose, and financial wisdom. Isn't that the true meaning of financial success? When you understand this, you discover an even greater purpose behind every cent you earn. Now that you've discovered how to truly put God first in your finances, remember, Every principle you learned today has the power to transform your financial reality. But all of this only works when you apply it consistently in your day-to-day life. God is ready to bless you abundantly, but the decision to act is yours alone. Start honoring Him today with your financial decisions, and you'll see your life filled with peace and authentic wealth with purpose. Don't forget, we're here to support you in prayer. So leave your prayer request in the comments, because we firmly believe that God can transform any situation you're going through. I also want to remind you to write this powerful faith declaration in the comments. I put God first, and that's why I prosper. This declaration is more than words. It's a prophetic and powerful act that will activate blessings over your life. And now, as I mentioned earlier, you need to complement what you learned here with our Put God First and Prosper playlist. There, you'll find practical teachings that will expand everything you've discovered today. Don't miss it. If this video was valuable to you, subscribe right now. Give it a like, share it with someone you know who needs this message, and turn on notifications. Who came to your mind while watching this? Share this with them right now, because that person may need to hear these words exactly. May God bless you in every area of your life. The best is yet to come.